This meeting is now being recorded.
Just to make sure that everybody can have this for later viewing when you reach out to Momentum. So today we're going to be talking about Global Meet webinar and the Global Meet in itself. We're going to give a quick presentation. We're going to leave the public chat available. We'll also like you to use the Q&A in the top right function to ask any questions that we'll address at the end of the presentation. So in that, we're going to get started and talk about Global Meet and what web conferencing can do for you. And before I jump into that, I just want to give out a poll and just push out a poll onto you and see how many of you are using any kind of conferencing right now. And I'll give you a minute just to answer that. So you should get a question with a multiple choice answers. Please go ahead and select the answers when you get a chance. I'm getting a lot of results, so thank you for that. So a lot of you have used web and audio conferencing in the past, which is great. So today we're going to talk about Global Meet itself, and really the intention behind Global Meet is to make sure that you are getting your web meetings hitting effectively. So if you're looking for a solution that allows you to conduct basic tasks without any complication, a solution that you can join and connect anywhere at any time, and even host and reach a dispersed global audience cost effectively, Global Meet really seeks that because it's a unified solution for audio, web, and webinars. And really you want to get a solution that allows you to conduct meetings effectively, always on time as well. So what is Global Meet and how does it help you? Global Meet is a unified solution. It's totally cloud-based. It comes with a lot of great features that are very intuitive and easy to use, which we'll go over very briefly. You can use this on any platform. So any operating system, such as Mac or Windows, on a laptop or a desktop is totally fine. If you like to use smartphones and tablets, we have them both for Androids and iPhones, and you can connect to them very easily, always with the same user interface, which we'll go over in just a bit. In terms of audio quality and video, you always get the best support and the crystal clear audio through VoIP or through just regular telephones. And in terms of the business value, you can definitely use this for all different types of meetings, which we'll talk about. And really, Global Meet is a unified, all-inclusive solution for your audio, web meetings, and webinars.
And Yazan, just a couple of points on that. The reason that that's so sort of critical in today's world is that many of you that are on the call right now, you're not necessarily in front of your computers anymore when you need to host a meeting, when you need to reach out to people. And for those of you that are audio only, this just adds another layer at which you can more deeply engage with your customers so that you can help your customers. Their time is valuable, so if you can give your customers an opportunity to meet with you and see documents and share documents, you're adding value to them. And so that's what we're hoping this platform will provide to you, a way for you to increase your productivity and help your end customers, sort of with their initiatives through the day.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lori. And speaking on that, really the use cases for Global Meet web and webinar are totally up to you because you can use this internally between different departments and branches for daily, weekly, or monthly meetings, but you can also use it with external partners such as vendors, partners, end users, prospects, training, and more. So it's a very robust tool that's simple to use, and you can use it at your desire. The next piece I want to talk about is really just the ability to connect in any device, anywhere, anytime. So we've got Global Meet apps available for all the different types of smartphones. We also have them available for tablets. So if you are on the go and you want to host or join a meeting, you'll never have to worry because it's always the same user interface. You'll always get the same support. You'll always get the same high-quality audio. So you can be very comfortable that whether you're joining or your guests are joining, they're always going to be in the room and connected easily.
And Yazan, you bring up a very good point there. One of the things that Momentum is very proud to provide is that instant support. So at any point in time, whether you're hosting a meeting or if you are attending a meeting, you can hit *0 on your phone and you'll be able to reach out to our support team. So, again, I can't stress that enough. And I think that's a big differentiator, and more so that you can feel comfortable when you're hosting meetings with your clients that support is just always sort of a *0 away or a chat away or an email away. But *0 for instant help is what's going to be beneficial to you. And again, it's that parity that we're embracing the mobile workforce now, and that people are no longer just sitting in their desks. And, if you wanted to start your meeting on your iPad, you could do that. And if you wanted to transfer that meeting onto your desktop once you arrive at the office, you can do that too. So really, as you look at this platform, think about the different ways in which, you've wanted to host a meeting or attend a meeting and you've not been able to in the past, and then think about how this might help you accomplish that goal.
Thank you, Lori. No, very good point, and you definitely touched on a few things. So when hosts or guests want to join, we want to make sure that it's completely hassle-free. So it's a one-click entry to the web room that uses any kind of browser that you are as a guest, so there's no downloads ever required. And once you click on that link and it opens up the web meeting room, it asks you how you'd like to connect. So we have a Connect Me button that the system calls you directly to your phone or to your computer. So there's no more numbers to memorize or anything like that. Get inside the meeting and get connected with a crystal clear audio within seconds.
And Yazan, one of the things that we like to point out there is the ability for somebody that might be joining on their phone. We have a hyperlinked phone number within the invitation. So if somebody's joining from their iPhone, for example, they can click on that telephone number. It will dial the telephone number for them and then the passcode. And again, remembering what we're trying to provide for you here, like you said, Yazan, it's simplicity, right? Gone are the days of, where's the telephone number? I have to remember my passcode. Now we want the platform to do the heavy lifting for you so that you can focus more on the actual content of the meeting.
Absolutely. And the next point you already mentioned a bit, Lori, which is basically staying connected across all the different devices. So because Google Meet provides applications for desktop, tablets, and smartphones with all the same operating systems, you can conduct meetings through your tablet with full functionality. You can share files from your file library at any time and even send them to guests. If you need to actually switch between devices, you can do that as well. We'll talk about that. And you can make big changes to your meeting room without even being inside through the desktop application. So we've always got you covered in terms of how you're connecting, conducting, or joining a meeting. So speaking on that, we wanted to make sure that if you're joining a room or hosting a meeting, you want to make sure that if you have to get up and go or you're just arriving to the office, you're never disrupting the meeting, especially if you're hosting. So Google Meet really is an intuitive program where it understands when you switch between devices. So it signs you in and out between the devices very smoothly on the same audio line, just connects you between different devices. So pretty much it understands when you're switching and you never disrupt anybody. And that's really critical in today's fast-paced movement between all our different devices. So with Global Meet, we have one of the highest rated audios, and that's not just for publicly switched telephone networks, but also through your computer, or VoIP as we call it. So you'll always be supported, whether it's on the mobile app, on the desktop app, speaking through your computer, or connecting to your cell phone while you're connected, or your office line. So you're always going to get that #1 audio quality in terms of support, and that's available always for both guests and hosts. Another great point is the file library. So with Global Meet, every host gets their own cloud-based file library that's actually inside the room where you can upload multiple types of files. They're always stored in your web meeting room, so wherever you access your room, whether you're on the go, you're at home, or in another city, another country, they're always going to be available for you to display, and you can send to your guests immediately. You can even share your screens with really great clarity, and we've gone a step ahead for some end users that want to share videos. We've actually built an integrated YouTube and Vimeo video player within the platform, so you can share videos on the go very instantly.
Yeah, and Yazan, we can't tell you, our data analytics tell us that this is one of the most used functionality components of the Global Meet webinar, and here's why. Just to give you a couple of examples, we have some attorneys that use this, and they have their boilerplate documents loaded into their room ahead of time so that they can go ahead and actually sort of file transfer those documents to their potential clients. That speeds up the process at which the client can sign off and say, yes, I would like you to represent me for my case. And then the client can actually go ahead and upload the document back into the file library with the attorney. The attorney signs a paralegal, and already that productivity has been sped up, right? If you think about the old days of snail mail, emailing documents backwards and forwards, trainers find this extremely productive because they want their materials to be available to their trainees real time. So again, it's just a sort of a really good productivity enhancement. The other thing that you'll see is, with the YouTube and the Vimeo, we are very much a visual society now. So when you have a new product that you want to take to market and you've got that out there on YouTube or you've got a Vimeo, upload it to your room. Show your clients what you're so excited about. It helps ingrain your brand for them, and it helps get them excited about what it is that you're providing for them in terms of service.
Absolutely. That's a great point on the visual aspect. And another great point is when you actually have your meeting conducted, you want to really push some questions or surveys as I've done at the beginning of this meeting. So you can custom create your surveys and polls and questions in a way that you want to gain information for your guests that might be vital for you. When the host is speaking, you'll always be notified through the orange halo. You'll always pay attention to who's speaking and be in the know. You can actually pass control to guests if they want to share something on the fly. They can share their content, they can share their screen, and recordings, just as this meeting, are going to be automatically stored in your file library. So you never have to really look elsewhere besides your web meeting room for all your files, your recordings, your Q&A results, and more.
Yeah, and just, Yazan, one thing to mention there, sometimes people think, well, I want to keep my documents private. Rest assured that you as the host are the only one that has the ability to sort of upload and download and decide what's in your file library and what's shared. So again, if you have some confidential information, you can absolutely make sure that nobody else is able to reach that. So you as the host control your destiny in this. And I think one of the other productivity features of this is if you are somebody that likes to train or meet with clients and you use PowerPoint like we are today, as Yazan mentioned earlier, from a productivity perspective, that PowerPoint is available for you on your iPad, so you don't, again, have to be tied to the office. You can absolutely start your meeting from your iPad, bring up your PowerPoint, and drive it from your iPad.
That's a good point, Lori. Thank you for that. And another great thing is whether you're a host or a guest, Google Meet provides the most comprehensive customer support available. So you can get live multilingual support at any time, as Lori mentioned earlier, and this is for both hosts and guests and applicable on any device. So when you're actually in a meeting room and you require support, you don't have to leave the meeting room. The live operator joins instantly into your meeting room and always make sure everything is taken care of. And if you have any questions or just want to search up and learn more about Global Meet, we have a vast community site with lots of resources available for everybody, both guests and hosts. Another great point is Global Meet integrates our audio and web with Microsoft Link. So if you're a current Link server or Link online customer, you can actually escalate to have a Global Meet web meeting on demand, and that allows you to automatically send instant message invites for quick connections so your guests or your partners or colleagues can join your meeting instantly. And we also integrate our Global Meet audio for external participants to join as well. So there's many options.
Yeah, and that's really important, right? A lot of us in different companies use Link, Skype for Business, whatever you'd like to call it today, and we use that because internally it's a great way to have that quick I am and presence. It's a great way to have a quick conversation. But oftentimes we'll find that not everybody has access to Link or Skype for Business, and not everybody has the ability to download and install the client. As you all noticed when you joined this meeting, you were able to join via the browser without having to download anything. So if you're looking for a more structured meeting, if you start having that conversation, and you realize that you need to be able to get people into a meeting, very simple, just to right-click, start a Global Meet meeting, provide that URL to your audience. They can come in, you can have your meeting, and it's now sort of a richer experience because you've got everybody looking at the visuals, you've got everybody on the same bridge, and it just is a nice way to ease into a larger meeting if you need to. So the point here being it's very flexible, and it does work with some of the tools that many of us are already using today.
Absolutely. And before we jump into Global Meet Webinar, which is just a tiny bit of an extension, just to summarize really quickly, Global Meet is a one unified solution for your web and audio and webinar. We have the Global Meet file library that, as Lori and I have mentioned, is your internal web meeting, so you can access your files at any time through any device and really have the office on the go with you anywhere you go. And whatever device you or your guests are using, you can always be comfortable that Global Meet interface for the apps is the same across all the devices. So it's always the same, it's always comforting, it's always intuitive of what you need. And as you join the meeting, the Connect Me feature really lets you join the meeting instantly with crystal clear audio, whether you want the system to call you, you want to join by your computer, or you want to dial in as well. We always provide all those options. If anything arises and you need instant support, you can be comfortable knowing that your guests and you have live support, again, multilingual, available at any time. And with Global Meet Audio, not just being the best rated, we also have many accesses points across the world. And finally, if you're using Microsoft Outlook, we have a Global Meet toolbar extension available, so you can quickly book and conduct meetings and schedule things on the fly, and it'll be automatically integrated into your calendar, which can also be done with other calendars as well. And moving on to Global Meet Webinar. So Global Meet Webinar includes Global Meet Web Room with all the same functions and features, except with an increased capacity from 125 participants to 325. So you can conduct meetings for a larger mass. You also have options for event registration where you can totally customize this at your will to gain some information that is very critical and useful for you. Once you've sent out the invites and registration forms, you can get comprehensive analytics, as you see on the middle image with the circles, that you find out how many people opened your link, registered, and so forth. So you really get an idea of what's going on with your webinar and how to improve on it if you conduct to have multiple ones. And finally, all the same user interface features are available on Global Meet Webinar. So you'll always feel comfortable in terms of being access to it both as a guest and a host. So that concludes the majority of information regarding Global Meet Web and Webinar. Just as a summary, this is a one unified solution for your audio, web, and webinars. It works on all different operating systems, on all the different devices, crystal clear audio, integrates with Outlook and Microsoft Link, and many more other features. Thank you so much for your time. We do have a few questions which we'd like to address. There is, again, the Q&A button. And before we jump into the Q&A, I just want to push one more poll, and then we'll ask all or answer all the questions.
All right, looks like those responses are coming in. So again, thank you so much for your time. We do have a lot of questions here in the Q&A. I'm going to go through the questions and then also go through the questions one by one. I'll share what the question is and then provide the answer. As we're doing this, if you have more questions, please go ahead and use the Q&A. So the first question is, what about all the background noise if I host remotely? Should I wear my earbuds, not be on speakerphone? What are the best practices? Okay, best practices are, number one, if you are hosting, I think you always owe it to your host to try and to your audience rather, to try and find somewhere nice and quiet. That's the professional, productive thing to do if you are in fact hosting. Now, if you're getting background noise from other people, you can actually mute people individually, or you can mute everybody as we've done here. So for larger audiences, you probably want to mute all, and for individuals, you can just mute them. For you yourself, again, make sure you have a good connection. If you are hosting remotely and you're driving through the mountains somewhere, there's a good chance that your phone carrier is not going to be able to sustain a very good connection for you. So I would say if you are using the voice over IP and the computer audio, use your headset. Definitely if you're in a car, use your headset. But again, be considerate to your guests. They're taking time to meet with you, so try and put yourself in a nice, quiet location and mute anybody that has a barking dog or construction going on outside of their office. The next question is, how does passing control to a guest help me in presenting? So there are a couple of different answers to this one. The first answer is when you have, maybe you're presenting together. Yazan's in Canada, I'm in Florida. So I've been able to advance the slides on this PowerPoint just as Yazan has, simply because he made me a presenter. So the benefit is you don't have to be in the same building. Many of us found that we're in virtual office now. We're working remotely. You can still have a nice collaborative, well-presented presentation, even if you're in different locations, just by promoting somebody else and sharing control of that PowerPoint. The other thing that it will allow you to do is allow somebody else to share their screen. We also have customers that are in the software world, and for them, they share their screens, they share their software, and then they pass control of their software application to their customers so that they can actually drive it. So there are really lots of different benefits for promoting guests and or just passing control to guests. Another question, how do we get live support? Live support comes from the phone. You can just click *0. If you've joined via computer audio, if I can direct your attention to the top right of the screen where you see that little X for exiting, obviously, and then you see that question mark. If you click on that question mark, you can actually have a chat with someone. So if you have joined via voice over IP, just go ahead and click that question mark, click the chat, and you can start chatting to one of our support professionals. If you're on the phone, just hit *0, and you'll be taken into a sub-conference so that you can speak to people, or speak to our support people. How does webinar differ from a web meeting? Do I have the option to do both within Global Meet? Yes, you do. So a couple of different options. If you're somebody that just only needs Global Meet webinar, then that would be the license that we would offer up to you, which will actually include the web meeting as well. And here really is the fundamental difference. When people think of hosting a web meeting, it's very bidirectional, it's very collaborative in nature. You want those lines open, you want to be speaking with people. When people are presenting a webinar, that is more of a structured, sort of more of a one-to-many. So when you're presenting with a webinar, you're concerned with things like registration. How many people did I send this invitation out to? How many people accepted? How many people attended? So if you're looking for sort of registration analytics, then I would say you need to go with a webinar. And if you're looking for more sort of interactive, then you're going to have an everyday web meeting. How do regular files look on screen? Do they have to be a PowerPoint? Nope, they don't have to be a PowerPoint. You can upload pings, you can upload GIFs, you can upload Word documents, PDF documents. and they will sort of scale to the screen. So obviously it's going to be more of a vertical look and view. If you've got a Word document in here, PowerPoint is obviously going to be more landscape. Is the call in a 1-800 number? There are choices, so this is a really good question, and let's go back to the crux of how you actually join a meeting. When you join the Global Meet webinar, you click on the link to join, and then it asks you for a telephone number and it dials out to you. So there are very few cases anymore in which people actually need to have that 1-800 number, simply because the webinar can actually dial out to you now. Cost is something, I'm not ignoring that question, thank you for that question, but we're definitely going to have you talk to your Momentum account executive so that you can understand the costing structure. Excuse me. Is VoIP better than a phone connection into the meeting? What if I lose internet connection? Great question. It can be, and sometimes it cannot. If you are in a remote location and your bandwidth is not so great and your jitter is pretty high, you definitely want to join via the good old-fashioned PSTN. If you are going to actually sort of if you're in a place where you've got great bandwidth, you know that your jitter is very, very low. If there's any jitter at all, absolutely use the voice over IP. And it's also a comfort level. You know, we find that millennials, they are all about the VoIP, and they understand bandwidth, they understand jitter, and they know when to use it and when not to use it. Our goal here is to really give you as many different choices as you need to join. So you can connect via computer audio. You can connect by having it dial out to you via the PSTN. And if you really want to put your index finger through that much pain to actually pick up a phone, dial a number, and enter in the passcode manually, you can absolutely do that too. All right. So seminar and webinar similar. I understand that webcast is more like a broadcast one-to-many. Yes, absolutely. Webcast is definitely more of a streaming option. That's something we see in all hands quarterly CEO address meetings. You know, you've got the CEO of the company wants to impart a message as to how you've done this past quarter. That's when you're going to use that webcast and you're going to have that broadcasting. Whereas a webinar, again, you know, we absolutely have the option to take everybody off mute here and have some interactivity. So, you know, you really have sort of a lot more flexibility and choices. And I think, Yazan, do you have any other questions? Oh, looks like there's one more.
No, I do not.
Oh, sorry, Yazan, there was just one more that came in. Play on demand. Can I record and rebroadcast? Yeah, absolutely. Yazan has recorded this session, and he can absolutely put this back up into his file library and play it from within the room if he would like to.
Absolutely. Everything that you do on Global Meet, from polling to Q&A, anything you shared, any room notes, can all be downloaded and shared at any time. I do believe that there is one more question. Is recording free? It definitely is. So any recordings that you conduct, such as this for me, this is my web meeting room, after the recording is done, it'll automatically be stored in my file library that I can share the link with, or I can download the file and actually share the MP4 as well. So I hope that answers your question. And Lori, did you want to add anything?
I did. Thank you for bringing that up, because this is where people get a little gun-shy, right? They've purchased a platform, and then all of a sudden they find that they have to pay for, well, yes, we give you storage, but you have to pay for it if you go over X. Well, yes, we give you the opportunity to record, but we're going to charge you if you want to look at those recordings. So when you do the recordings in your web meetings here, there's no cost to you to disseminate that recording out to anybody else or to house that recording. And the same thing with the file library. You can upload as much content as you would like to. So again, thinking about that way that you might like to have files at the ready that you can provide to your customers, you know, right there and then, sort of Johnny on the spot, as it were, save them time, enhance your productivity, upload as many documents as you need to. The file library also gives you a way to sort those documents as well, so it's very easy for you to find them.
Thank you so much, Lori. I'm going to turn my webcam on just to say my final goodbye. So thank you again, everybody, for attending today. If you do have any questions, please use the number to reach that is on the screen right now. I do see that we do have one more question, and that is, can I download the webinar for embedding in my website? Laura, can you answer that one?
Absolutely. So the file is an MP4, and that was deliberately by design. MP4 is very well recognized and very easy to manipulate. So you can take that link and embed that on your intranet, for example. So hopefully that answers that question.
All right, since there's no other questions right now, and if you need any other information or want to give Google Meet a test run, please reach out to Momentum. We're more than willing to help you as well. Otherwise, thanks so much. I really appreciate everybody joining. Lori, thank you as always, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.